and we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, I'll open up the floor for some questions as I go along. For the most part, I'll probably answer your questions along the way, but I still like to make sure that I don't have anyone lost. So if you can go to page 2 on your PowerPoint, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what Kronos is. So Kronos is a payroll and HR management system that's completely replacing all of our Paychex components. So we won't be using Stratus Time, HR Online, and Benetrack. None of it. It's all going to be just Kronos. So it's one website with one login. The best part about that is that it's all in that one place, so it's super efficient, and you guys will be able to navigate around all your different areas within the one site. You're also going to be able to update your own personal information. You'll be able to view any of your benefits. If you've enrolled or declined in anything, it'll show you all right here, and then you'll also be able to see your time off balances. I know for some of you, we kind of have a funky thing going on with Paychex where not all the time the time off is right in Stratus Time. So that's completely going away. Everything's going to be accurate in this one system. And the best part about that is what I see, you see. So it's completely transparent. There's also time cards and pay stubs. And then if you forgot to pension, you can submit request a time change, so basically submitting a mispunch. I call Kronos employee-centric, meaning it's getting put back into your guys' hands. You guys have the ability to do so much more than you've ever been able to do here at Vibrant Care, so really awesome system. So I'm going to go to page 3, which is the login information. So the website I'm working with is more simple if you'd like. So we have first initial, last name, default password. Please remember this password because it's going to be your password going forward in Kronos. So you're going to username, password, hit login. It'll prompt you to enter a new password. You're going to enter your new password, and then it's going to take you to page 4, which is a verification process. So when you log in for the first time, it will ask you to enter a code. You're going to have them send this code to your email. So it'll go to your work email, and then you'll get your code, and you'll enter it in and hit, you're going to check the box that says, by checking this box, the system will not require the entry of a code from this browser. So you need to check that box because otherwise it's going to ask you for a code every time you clock in or you try to log in. If there's more than one computer that you might be using, I suggest that you go to each computer and log in because it's going to ask you a code for the first time you log in from a new computer. But as long as you check that box the next time, it won't go away. You won't ask you for a code. Kind of like online banking. For those of you that just arrived, we're moving to page 5. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. And this is what your screen looks like. It's what's on your page 5. So I have outlined some of the icons here for you, so I'm going to go ahead and explain them. So we have our menu icons. You can click it, and it'll show a menu. Kronos is a home button, so if you want to get back to just this screen, you can go ahead and click Kronos. Take you right back. There's also the mailbox here, a to-do item spell, and then the help icon. If you hover over any of the icons, it'll actually tell you what they are, so if you forget, you can do that as well. The company can post announcements here for you guys, so I have one up right now saying that open enrollment is coming soon. So if you're a benefited employee, you'll participate in open enrollment. You can click it. And the announcement is letting you know that open enrollment is going to be next Monday through Friday with details to come. I'm currently wrapping up our open enrollment guide, and then we'll be sending it over by the end of the week via email, so you'll be able to see everything and how to access it before the weekend. Next, we have our clock widget. So So there's multiple different ways to do your timesheet. It's going to tell you your date and your time, and then the last time you clocked in. So this person last clocked in today at 8 o'clock. We have our clock in, clock out, and change cost center. So the cost center is your location. These buttons are only going to be here if you are an hourly employee. If you are not an hourly employee, if you are salaried, you still have the same widget. These just aren't here. Your time statistics are a pay period total. So this is going to be your total for the pay period, if you have any extra pay, or if you have any overtime. If you don't, it just does the question mark. Second, we have our timesheet chart. So it's going to be for your current week. These are the days, and these are how many hours. Pink means that's the current day. This person hasn't clocked out, so there's no hours. She hasn't clocked in or out this whole week, so no hours. So this is your main dashboard page. Next, we're going to go to page 6, which is the menu. And you're going to click the menu, and this will pop up. If you always want your menu to be open, you can click this thumbtack, and it'll stay open as you move around. Or if you don't, you can leave it as is, and it'll go away as you navigate around. You can also click the X button. We also have the search bar, so maybe you just want to type in that you want to view your timesheet. It'll pop up here for you. And then this gray actually shows you the path on how to get there, on how to navigate. Brits, and this single employee icon is your info. So anything that says my pertains to you, my. So I'm going to open up the floor and just ask if there's any questions before I move on. Say that again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the lines. We'll move on. I think I heard that there was a lot of information. There is, but I'll give you some more information at the end about how much time. So there's a lot of practice that you guys get before we go live. And then we also have that PDF, so you can always use this PDF to navigate around as well. So we're going to go to page 7, which is your employee icon here. My information, my profile. As you can see, everything is gray for the path that I'm choosing. This is what your employee profile looks like. So you can see your compensation, so what your hourly rates are, your personal information. You can see your account contacts, so your emergency contacts, any dependents for your medical or your beneficiaries. You can also see your accruals. So it will show you exactly how much you've accrued, how much you've taken, and what your current balance is. So your balance is whatever you can use. If you have a request, so you have some scheduled, it'll populate here. And then if you've submitted a time off request and it's pending approval, it'll be here. We also give you this visual for your accrual rate. So now you can actually do the math to do, if you're trying to do future requests, you can actually see how much you're accruing. So very visual. As I mentioned before, very employee-centric, so putting it back into your hands as the employee so you can actually own your own times and your schedules and your profiles. The next page is your payroll tab, which is just this tab right here. My test employee doesn't have this set up, but you can see in the PDF that it shows your scheduled earnings and deductions. So relating to your pay stub, information will show up here. And then under the HR tab, which is page 9, this shows your to-do items. So if you have a to-do item, which would be an action item you need to complete as an employee, if you have one here, it will show up in your bell. So this number is 0 because you don't have any. If you have something here, it will also be in your bell. Most of the time, you won't have anything in your bell. Something that you would maybe do is if there was open enrollment, you might have a to-do item bell. But for the most part, you're not going to have any to-do items as an employee. Then we have our benefit plan. So if you're enrolled in a benefit plan, or maybe you waived it, like you don't need coverage, they would show up here. So anything relating to benefits, if you're a benefit employee, will show up here. If I go back to the main tab, I just want to show you guys that if it's gray, it means that you cannot edit the information. So no editing of the information if it's gray. But I do know that I told you can update your own personal information, so I'll show you guys how to do that next. When this arrow right here is blue, you can click it and it'll take you to the last screen that you were on. So it's like a back button. So before I move on to show you guys how to do personal information changes, I'm going to open up the floor again and ask if you guys have any questions.
Go to quick dash. Understand?
Hello? Does anybody have questions?
Heather, I have a question.
Yep.
If someone has had a PTO request, let's say for a month, and it's been approved, in their balance, is it reflected that they'll be using that, or do they have to kind of take that into account as they view it?
It will actually, great question. So I asked our Kronos team, and it will show in their current balance. So if it's scheduled, it will take it out of the balance.
Okay. That's helpful.
Yes, very helpful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to page 10, which is your HR actions. So this is going to be how you can change your personal information. 1 second, we got a chat here. It's regarding approving time cards, so I will show you all in just a little bit when I get to the time card portion. So I'm going to come up here to your menu, and then we're going to go to our My HR Actions. And I do have this listed under on the title where it says HR Actions. It says My HR Actions, so it shows you how to get there. So we have our available, under available, these are all the items that you can change for your personal information. Information is still being imported into the system. So at this time, not all information is updated. So if you were to log in right now, your accrual balances are not going to be there. I'm still working on those and some other personal information. So everything should be uploaded by about the time we go live. So I will keep everybody updated on that. Until we go live, I do ask that you don't submit any personal information changes, just because I am still importing over the information. Once we go live, you guys can start submitting some personal information changes. So I'm going to show you guys how to change your phone number. So you'll come in here and you'll go to Start. And then this is what the screen looks like. It's pretty generic for all the different types. It should look just about the same. We have our effective date. So this is the effective date that you want the change to take place. If you want it to change immediately, then you keep it as today's date. If you want it to change for a future, you're going to go ahead and select the future date. It'll always auto-populate with your current phone number. So then we want to change it. And then you're going to hit Submit. Submitting means it's going to HR for approval. If you do not hit submit and you hit save, it will not go to HR for approval, and it will end in the pending status. So you need to hit submit for it to go to approval. You are about to submit a request. You want to continue. And then it'll automatically take you to the submitted tab. We did a phone number or email change, so it tells you all the different types and the dates that they were created. So we did this one, and then it's been submitted. So if you only have it, if you only hit save and you didn't hit submit, it'll end up in this open section. You want this section should always basically have nothing in it. So if you made a change and it didn't go through, if you check here and it's here, that's what happened. So you want to make sure that it gets to the submitted tab. As you can see, I have I just approved it, so this was our request, and it's approved. It says approved and not completed because I have a future date. If you have it effective immediately, it'll go straight to the completed phase once it's approved. So once 12/6 happens, this status will change to completed. Any questions about HR actions? Awesome. So next we're going to move over to timesheets. So we're going to go to page 11. So we're going to go to our menu. Then we're going to go to time, and then timesheet, and your timesheet. So up here is your date, so you can confirm the pay period that you're in, and that it says this is your current timesheet. If you are a salaried employee, you will not have these buttons. If you are an hourly employee, you will have these buttons. Then this is what your time card looks like. A little bit different view than what we see in Kronos or in Paychex, but as soon as you guys get into it, I know you guys will be able to navigate. So over here we have our note button. So if you wanted to make a note, you could write in a little note and hit save. Probably won't be using that icon for very much, if at all, but I do like to show you that the option's there. This is going to show you your total pay period. So, and then if there's the little red dot next to the date, that means it's the current date. That's the date that we're on. You guys will be able to choose your location. So say you worked at a different location. Maybe we worked in San Leandro today. It'll pop up. You can choose the magnifying glass and choose from the list. Next we have, if there's any time off that you've taken, it'll pop up here. So this person has some unpaid time off coming up tomorrow. And then your punches start. So if we're up here on Monday, we have Monday the 19th. This individual started at 8:15. Are you guys still there? You guys all still there? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still here. Just making sure. All right. So then we have our clock out time and then the total. So the total's at 9 hours because she didn't take a lunch. And then we have our schedule. So this individual clocked in at 8:15 and clocked out at 5:15, but was scheduled from 8 to 5. So she has two different exceptions. So the late in and a late out. And then for the next 3 days, she didn't clock in or out, so she was absent. These are just notifications for you. You don't need to acknowledge them or approve them. They're just exceptions. Again, this is just showing you what you're doing with your time and when you're scheduled. So being an owner of your own schedule, it'll show you right here. For salaried employees, your time will be auto-populated just like it is in Kronos or in Paychecks. So it'll auto-populate your time for you. All salaried employees will be listed as a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, regardless of the hours that you're working because you're salaried. So your time will just say 8 to 5. You'll review it, make sure that if you took PTO or sick time that it's entered. Same for hourly. So you're going to verify that everything's correct. You'll verify your total down here. And then you're going to go ahead and hit the Submit for Approval button. Once you hit Submit for Approval, it'll go to your manager for them to approve it. Time cards are not submitted by day anymore. They're only approved by pay period. I will still be sending out the weekly or the pay period reminders before the pay period for you guys to approve your time cards. So that will still be happening. And then you can also verify that it's almost the last day of the pay period because, as you can see, this Friday, last day of the pay period. So if you're clocking out on Friday, you'll know that when you're done, you can review it and then submit for approval. The other thing that I wanted to mention is there is no begin meal or end meal. It's just clock in, clock out. So clock in for the day, clock out for lunch, clock in from lunch, clock out for the day. I'm going to quickly go through these other tabs. I don't find them as useful for you guys. This is the main one that you guys should be looking at because it has all of your information. But we have an exceptions tab, so it's just notifying you that there's exceptions. And then we have the detail tab. This one might actually be helpful. It's just a different view of your timesheet tab. So it has all the exact same information on it. It's just in a different layout. So that might be easier as well. Counters don't show up for my test employee, but a counter is a pay code. So it will list by day what pay codes are being used. So regular time, overtime, PTO, sick time. And then if you just want a clear view summary by day, it'll pop up here. So it's just going to show you your daily total and then your weekly and then your pay period. This is also a good screen. It just doesn't verify if there was PTO or anything, so you might want to use the calculation detail or the timesheet tab. And then again, if you do want to submit your time card at the end of the pay period, you're going to come up here to submit for approval. We got another question about the 5-minute before after grace period. We will be rounding punches in Kronos just as we do in Paycheck. So that's just saying if you clocked in at 5, like for example, 7:57, it would round your time up to 8. And then if you clocked in at like 8:03, it would round it to 8. So we are still going to have that in this system as well. Great question. I'm going to show you one other thing and then I'll open up the lines again. So we have our utilities. This is on page 12. If you click this utilities bucket, you can view some time off count. So this is a second way to verify that you have enough hours. So your second screen to show you your time off hours. You can also view your schedule in this view as well. So you can hover over it and it'll tell you the exact time. So just another way to view your schedule. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines. Does anybody have questions about the time card process?
I had a quick question. question. If we go from one clinic in the morning and then we have to go to another clinic in the afternoon, is there like a transfer thing like there was for paycheck, or does it matter? In and out?
There is. So, great question. So there is. It's the change cost center button. Let me see if I can replicate it. I haven't done that one yet, so give me just a second. We see if we can take it. I think we need to see it. This is a Bay Area aid. Oh, I didn't see it turn yet. Okay, yeah. So you click the change cost center, and it changed the location, and then it automatically did the time that it is right now. So if you were clocking in, like leaving one and needed to clock, you can clock out from one, and then you can go right into here, and it'll do your next punch for you at the new location.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, and then if you forget to do it, once you get all your extra punches, as you see, there's another line. This option will always be available for you, so you could still like clock in and out all day, normal, and then you could come back in and change it this way as well. And it's the same kind of list value. Yeah, great question.
Yeah. What's the latest you can clock in and have it revert back to 8 o'clock?
So the time punches, I'm still working on the rounding right now, but I believe it's just going to be 3 minutes before or after.
Heather?
Our current system already does this. Yep.
Question regarding, it's more for salaried employees, because they have a fixed schedule. From a management perspective, are you able to, let's say it's going to be a holiday, and they've made arrangements to work longer days, Monday through Wednesday, the holidays are Thursday and Friday, and so sometimes they aren't required to use as much PTO because they've worked longer shifts. We have the ability to adjust that on the back end.
Yes, but I'll sidebar with you afterwards.
Okay, that's fine. Just checking.
Yep. Okay. So next I'm going to show you guys some time change requests. So that's page 13. So, so a time change request is when you forget to clock in or out, and so you need to submit a missed punch. So we're going to act like it's the end of the day already, just because I already did this little guy right here, but we're going to act like it's the end of the day, and we forgot to clock out. So this is going to be showed on 13, 14, 15. And so we're going to go to change request, and then change type, and then add punch. Oh, sorry, we're going to punch out. It's the end of the day. We're going to pick our day. So it's Wednesday. We're going to put 5 p.m. You can also enter military time, and it will auto-adjust for you. You're going to hit submit changes. You're going to say why, which I already know none of you guys ever forget. So there's not going to be that many time change requests, just in case. So it does not automatically show up here because it goes to your manager for approval. So right here, it's letting you know that it was your request was saved. So it's been saved, and your manager has to approve it. So let me go in here and approve it so I can show you guys what it'll look like for you. Okay, so up here, your mailbox number changed. So it changed here. We're going to click it. Your time change request was approved. So after you submit it and it's been approved, it will send you an email. If you get an email in this mailbox, you will also get an email in your web mail. So 2 different notifications that something's been approved for you. you can see, also populated here. If you also want to see all of your change requests, you can also go to your timesheet, and your change requests. And then you'll view it here. So it says your date, you added a punch out, and it was approved. It won't populate in this screen until after it's been approved or rejected. Any questions on time change requests until before I go to time off requests? I'm going to go over to time off requests. So this is going to be on page 17. So we're going to go to our menu, and we're going to go to time, and then we're going to go to time off request. So this is going to show you just like this. You're going to select your type. If you do not have enough paid sick or paid time off, it will not go through. You'll get an error. So we're going to do unpaid because my girl here doesn't have time off accruals yet. And then we have our type. So we either have full day, partial day, or multiple days. Partial day means bulk hours. So maybe you guys want to submit just like 3 hours. You're going to click on partial day. You're going to submit the day you want it. Friday, do 2, and then our comment. You'll get this saying your request has been successfully submitted. If you want to view any of your time off history, you're going to go right below request and go to history. And all of your requests you've made are going to populate here. So let's find our guy here. So we have the date is for the 30th for 2 hours. It was submitted today, and it's new. This icon means that there's a comment, and it's just whatever comment you made. And then maybe you're like, oh, no, I don't need that time anymore. You can click the trash can, and it'll delete it. Once it's been approved, it will show you approved and who approved it. Once it's also approved, you'll also get an email in your mailbox and in your webmail. If you go to page 19, we're going to go to the same spot. We're going to go to time off, and then we're going to go to balances. And then we have our your balances here as well. So this is the third view for how you view your accrual balances. It's going to tell you what you have, what your current balance is, and then you're going to request. You can request right from here as well, and it will auto-populate that bucket for you. So pretty cool that there's 3 different ways that you can go through and view your balances. Does anybody have any questions about time off?
Now I have a question. Let's say you don't have PTO, but you're requesting it 7 months out. Can you request it unpaid and change it later when you do get the hours?
I believe that the system will be able to calculate what your balance should be from the future. I'm not 100% on that, so great question. Let me follow up on that, and then I'm compiling a huge frequently asked questions, and I will send out all the information in that. So good question.
And then the other question is, are you transferring over all of our requests and paychecks over to the new system, or do we have to resubmit all those?
So there's a yes and a no to that. So at this time, Kronos is capable to import all of the current requests in the old system into the new system. What I don't know is if I can get them out of paychecks. So if I can get them out, they will all be transferred over. If I can't, then we'll have to resubmit, but I will let you guys know that as well. Great question. Any other questions? Okay. So the last couple things I want to just show you guys, on page 20, it just talks about your to-do items. So if you have any to-do items in your bell here, which should be really rare, but that's an action item for you to complete, which will show up here. Your mailbox, again, I'll click into the mailbox. So this is just any notifications that you get after you submit like a request off or anything like that. And this will also go to your webmail. On page 22, we have a document section. So I'm going to go to the menu and then go to My Company and then Documents. And right now I just have the enrollment guide because I'm preparing for open enrollment, but eventually all of the handbooks will be loaded here so that you will always be able to access the handbooks. You can also view announcements, so any of the announcements like I have on the first page you can see here. So there's multiple ways to do things in the system, which is really cool. And then if you go to page 23, it talks about My Learning. So we're going to go to My Learning, Product Training, Employees. These are all information built into the system by Kronos on self-paced training. So if you forget how to request time off, you can come in here and request time off. It'll either do a video or a PowerPoint depending on the type. So if you want to teach yourself a little bit more, you can come in here and view anything like that. And then lastly, we have some important rollout dates. So you guys are the last employee training that I have. After this, I've trained the company on Kronos. Yay! We're going to be dual punching in Kronos starting Monday. So starting Monday through the 14th, all employees will be using both Kronos and Paychex, both systems. This is our test period so that you guys can log in, get familiar with it for a couple weeks, understand how to navigate before it's tied to payroll. It also helps us verify that I worked out all the kinks and that all of our time is calculating accurately. And then next week, Monday through Friday, we're going to be having open enrollment. So if you are a benefited employee, you'll be receiving information for open enrollment. It will be in Kronos, so more information to come on that this week. And then we're going to go live. So 12/17 is our go live date. So we have just about 3 weeks left, and then we're done with Paychex and moving only into Kronos. Another thing that I want to show you guys is on page 25. There is an app. So there's the Kronos Workforce Ready app. You do have to type in that Workforce Ready to get the right Kronos app, and it will ask you for a company short name. In this app, you can do everything that you can do on the desktop. You just are not able to clock in or out. You do have to be at a desktop computer for to clock in or out. I'm currently working on security settings for Kronos. We have a couple hiccups that we ran into, so I'm trying to get everything squared away so that everyone can clock in and out in Kronos. And for those of you, it's just a select few have to make phone calls into your managers. That still needs to take place at this time. As soon as I can get everything worked out, I will let you guys know when that can be stopped. I know that's just a few select employees. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines. Just friendly reminder, please get into Kronos. Make sure you can log in. Email me if you can't get in. And then if you have a hyphenated name, please let me know for that as well, and I can get that sorted out for you. Once you get into the system, if you do have any questions, please send those to your managers, and then your managers will send those up to me. That way I'm navigating through just the manager emails and not 200 employee emails so that I don't get lost from any questions don't get lost. So I'm going to open up the lines, and And does anyone have any other questions?
So you mentioned that we can't update personal information until somewhere closer to the true go live date, but open enrollment is before that. If our personal information isn't showing up accurately in Kronos, is that going to affect our ability to accurately complete open enrollment?
Great question. You're the first person to ask me that. So if your information is not correct, please send me an email and then I'll work with you on making sure it's all correct. Whatever is in Kronos is what's in our current system right now. So if the current system's not correct, then Kronos isn't going to be correct. So everything should be, but if it's not, send me an email and I'll work through it with you guys. Great question.
They all are.
Any other questions?
Okay, I have a question here. Someone's wondering, are we able to do our open enrollment benefit application through that mobile app, or does it have to be on the desktop?
I actually don't know the answer to that question. I believe you can do it on the app, but I don't want to say yes or no. I won't know until Monday. If I find out, I have a call tomorrow with Kronos, so if I find out ahead of time, I will let you guys know if you can do it on the app or not.
Okay.
Great question. All right, guys, I'm going to give you guys some time back in your